So you just ask little questions and make the decisions really small, reducing risk. And what happens is the person that you're asking these questions to feels really like you're paying attention to them. Like, I mean, that's customer service right there. Let's talk about trust. I remember when I was first looking for a house, the house that I bought here, my broker, Robert, had asked me, like, what kind of home are you looking for? And I couldn't even use the right words. And he says, oh, you're looking for a traditional home. I'm like, oh, is that what that is? Okay. And I came from a postmodern house, so I don't have the language. And then they described it and then now we're like getting alignment, right? So here's one mistake that creative people make. You have the curse of knowledge, meaning you've studied all these things and you have terminology and you talk about in your critiques and using very coded language, but then you meet a client who's doing this for the first time. You're like, describe your ideal home, and they can't use your language and you get frustrated. And why can't clients just tell me what they want? So we won't go down that road. We'll help develop a vocabulary with them and make it accessible, because communication isn't about the words you use, but finding that common ground with somebody. Okay, so we're going to ask questions. So we already know that if we start the conversation with a prospective client and we ask questions, we're going to find out what matters to them. This is really important. And then the next thing that we're going to need to do is we're going to need to confirm with them, here's what I heard you say, is this correct? And you would just go down the list. One of my friends is a psychologist, and she says that our main objective in any kind of interpersonal communication is to acknowledge and understand what the other person is saying. That's it. So if you're having a relationship and a client is a relationship, you need to acknowledge and understand. So what is it that you want? What are you looking for? What are your needs? Do you have any health issues, or what other boots have worked for you in the past, and how have they held up? And are you considering a different brand or just an upgrade to this one? And what kind of budget do you have? So they ask lots of questions without forcing you to make big decisions. And that's what you're doing, is because the word decide has the word side in it. Side means to kill. And so you're killing off options. So that's why people have a hard time making the decision. So if you say, do you want to buy boot A or boot B? People freak out. I don't know, man. So you just ask little questions and make the decisions really small, reducing risk. And what happens is the person that you're asking these questions to feels really like you're paying attention to them. Like, I mean, that's customer service right there. And you could take this and you could translate this across almost everything about like what vacation you want to go on. What kind of food do you want to eat if it's a new restaurant? What kind of movie or play do you want to watch if you're not familiar? You just ask lots of questions. Now we're going to understand what's relevant to this person. And then we have to mirror or match that with like, what can I do? What aligns with that? And if I'm not a good fit, like if I don't know a lot of good vegan recipes, I'm going to recommend you to somebody else, or just say, I don't know. And there's a lot of power in saying, I don't know. Okay, so that's the next thing we're going to touch on. People who are honest, who are transparent, who say what they're thinking, earn trust. It's the people who are evasive and opaque that you start to like, oh, I'm not getting a good feeling about this. I don't know what you're thinking. Like, what's happening behind these eyes? I don't know. So this is where you have to learn the business side of things, which is to learn how to communicate and connect with another human being. You have to be patient, because when Kyle had mentioned like open communication, willingness, I think willingness is another word for like, you're going to be patient. I don't need to close the sale right now. Take as much time as you need, Kyle. Do you need to comparison shop? Do you need to like look at other things? Do you want to try this on? Let me know when you're comfortable. These things build trust. Okay, so every time that you have one of these kinds of questions, I want you to do a little empathy exercise, which is to put yourself in the other person's shoes. What have I ever experienced that was either positive or negative, and what can I peel away from that? And then you could become a student of life.